Coming up next, I'm giving y'all a story about an inmate who gets prison justice for his demonic actions. Stay tuned to the JSK Prison Talk Show. Y'all know the vibes. Let's go.
It's JS Corner from the prison story massacres. I be telling stories about the pushers and the traffickers, trying to keep the YNs away from the bandits. Don't eat the honey bun, don't drink the coke, don't become another victim or the butt of a joke. Don't close both eyes when you sleep or get choked. When you go to the mess hall, sit with your team, cause if you sit with some punk boy, you can get seen, then you can get dealt with. Prison justice like you never felt it. I be taking y'all back to stories of the helpless. That lava I spit, get your boy stories melted. I spit about prison justice cause I dealt it. And you a real hater if you can't respect it. All that bullshit, yeah, I'm here to check that. Any confrontation, I'ma show up. Bet that. You a real hater, I'm here to address that. When it comes.
What up, what up, what up? We are back. Who am I? Jersey Street Corner, and this is the Prison Talk Show, people. So let's get into it. Now, today I have a banger for you, y'all. Today, I'm bringing y'all a prison legend. And that could go two ways. You could be a legend for good reasons or bad reasons. Well, this guy, he's a legend for very bad reasons. Now, excuse me, out of respect for his victims, I will not be using his real name. I will use his alias, but not his real name. So let's say this guy's name is Craig, and he goes by the name of the Family Killer. He doesn't call himself that. That's what everyone else calls him. He just thinks he's a regular guy. But he's really a psychopath. And this guy is in prison with over 6 life sentences plus 20 years. So, in order for y'all to understand exactly what a bad guy this is, why he got so much time, why he deserves so much time, y'all gonna have to stick with me. It's gonna be a banger, and I'm just gonna have to break it down for y'all. It's not gonna be a 1, 2, 3. So I know y'all tired of hearing me yibber and yabber. Let's get to it. Now, this guy Craig, he was married. I'm not even gonna mention the woman's name, like I said, out of respect for his victims. Spoiler alert, his wife became one of his victims. Now, they had 2 young children. He also had a girlfriend on the side. In the midst of that, y'all, he would go out regularly to different bars and hang out. And he had a mistress. Yeah, y'all keeping count? A wife, a girlfriend, and a mistress. Now, something must have went wrong. Something must have went wrong in Craig's head, where one day he went out to that bar and he met a woman and decided he was going to bring her back to, his spot. Now, he did that. Now, mind you, I haven't got into Craig's backstory yet, but I'm going to give y'all another spoiler alert. And y'all remember these little spoilers. Y'all remember them. They all going to tie in at the end. But this woman was black. And they went back to the spot, had consensual sex. After they was done and he got what he wanted from her, he choked her out, y'all. Choked her until she stopped breathing. And then he just slid her right up under his son's bed. One of his son's beds. Now, the girlfriend pops up and, they chilling. They smoking trees together and having a good time. A few hours go by. And before she leaves, he ends up doing the same thing to her, y'all. He chokes her out. He got 2 bodies on him already in his own house. And he just leaves her there. Now, y'all, this is where things get diabolical. This is where Craig's crime goes from crazy to psychopath. He walked upstairs to the bedroom where his children were sleeping. Mind you, there's a body under the bed that his son is sleeping in. He choked both of them little boys out. Yep. And his reasoning behind it was that he was sending everybody to heaven. That's what he said, y'all. He was sending everyone to heaven. Now, they already know, obviously, the husband, he has to have something to do with this. The wife been missing. Girlfriend's dead. Mistress is dead. Kids are dead. So, he's not there. And they're wondering, where could this guy be? They're looking all over for him. He actually turned himself in. And he told them, I ain't gonna give y'all no trouble. He was willing to go in, but still had no remorse for his crimes, y'all. Now, once things were said and done, of course, he got his date, in court. And while he was incarcerated, they found the remains of his wife. They tacked that body on to his sentence. Now, this man had already had 4 life sentences plus 20 years. Got added on. He's on his way to prison, y'all. When he gets to prison, he lets his presence be known. He let the warden know. He let everybody know, I'm going to turn up in here if I don't get my way. And that's just what it was. And they didn't lock him down or nothing. They didn't put him in solitary. None of that. They tried to test the old boy. As the legend has it, this Joker caught at least 4 more bodies in the prison. And all they kept doing was transferring him back and forth to different prisons that they thought could handle him. Now, remember I told you one of those victims, let's say, that he caught slipping, the black girl that was walking from the bar. They was chilling. Well, the way he was raised was very, very racist. So, not only didn't he like her, he just wanted to use her. And after that, the actual gratification he was looking for was unaliving her after the sex. That's what he was looking for. He's a very sick individual, y'all. And now, going to trial, he's trying to claim not guilty by reason of insanity. Well, y'all know they found him guilty as hell on all counts. Locked his ass up, threw away the key. Yeah. Now he's in here. And yeah, I'm going to actually describe the few unalivings that's known to be done by this man. And when y'all hear how brutal they were, and his outtake on it, his outlook was, what y'all gonna do? I already got 6 life sentences. They just tacking them on, y'all, tacking them on. And, well, y'all gonna find out. Now, Craig's first prison murder, a lot of people argue it was justified. I don't know. Because with his charges, how could you judge anybody else? But the way it goes is, so now this all happened a long time ago. And this was a time where a lot of the prisons had actual butcher shops in there where they butchered up real meat. And a lot of those cooks, the chefs that were in charge of those kitchens, they would only hire inmates that have killed somebody. Unalive, excuse me. And their reasoning behind that was they knew that they wouldn't be, bothered by the blood or any of that stuff going on in the butcher shop. Even like hardcore burglars or gangsters would go and try and get a job in there in the kitchen, and the dude asks them, "Have you ever unalived anybody?" Like, nah, I'm not gonna be able to use you. So Craig, of course, got hired, no problem. He got that on his belt right there. Now, working alongside him was a chomo, y'all. A chomo that had less than, I think it was like 4, maybe 5 months left of his sentence till he was going home. And he got in a disagreement with this guy, and he knew what he was in there for. Well, Craig had a pole that he was hiding inside of that kitchen. When this guy wasn't looking, he beat him unmercifully with that pole, all upside his head, collapsed his lungs. I mean, he beat him until he was done, unalive. And then he left a note for the warden and said, "I told y'all to move me." Now, an officer came in the kitchen right when Craig was trying to spray water on the ground and clean up all the red stuff that was on the ground. And he's like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "Oh, just cleaning up. I gotta go. I'll see you later." And he hurries up and hauls ass about the kitchen, heads back to his cell. Now, by the time the guard goes in and follows the drag marks through the red liquid on the floor to a closet and finds that chomo in the closet unalive, beaten belligerently, he calls it in right away. You know where they found Craig? Craig was in the lunchroom eating a candy bar and drinking a glass of milk like nothing happened, like a regular old day. Yeah, y'all. That was Craig's first kill. Now after that, they locked Craig up for about 70, 75 days, and they figured he might have learned his lesson, and they decided they was going to put him in a cell with another inmate. That's something that has never been done. This guy has always been in a max facility, single cell, because of his violence. But no, somebody decided it was a smart idea. Well, I don't know if this was something that Craig made up in his mind or if it really happened, but immediately, a few days into this cell interaction, Craig got into it with the roommate. He's accusing the roommate of hiding weapons and drugs in the cell, and his gripe is if it gets found, they both gonna get in trouble for it. So that was an ongoing dispute between the two. Well, Craig wasn't gonna play no games with him. Later on, while the guy was sleeping, he jumped down and he choked him out with this string made of shoelaces and sheets. And he choked him out till he was done, unalive. And he left him there on the cell floor. Then, this is where it gets crazy, y'all. Craig goes out to yard. He goes out the yard. Well, first he has breakfast, then he goes out the yard. All of this now. He has breakfast, goes out the yard, and as he's on the yard, walking the track, he walks around a few times. He just decides to walk up to an officer and go and tell him what he did. And he said it was self-defense. He said the dude was trying to unalive him with a razor. So they immediately went back, checked it out. He was telling the truth, locked the cells down, and once again, Craig got transferred to another facility where he could create more mayhem, y'all. This guy is the family killer. And he just don't care. He has no remorse. He has nothing on his mind but unaliving you. So what do you do when you're facing a killer like that? Now, when Craig got to this next prison, they didn't pay any attention to his rap sheet. They didn't have room in lockup for him anyway, so they just threw him in regular population. Big mistake. With that, Craig was able to find out who got the drugs, who was who. And mind you, I told y'all, Craig don't like black people, but this prison that he just got dropped in is predominantly black, y'all. So he gonna find out what moves he gotta make and who he gotta talk to get his hands on his drug of choice. Now, in prison, there are many politics, and being a new guy is going to be a lot harder for you to get your hands on something. So, either somebody going to have to vouch for you, or you just going to have to, get it how you get it. However that might be. Now, Craig, I'm going to make this short. He found what he was looking for. And the guy that he was going through to get it for him, let's say he was fiended out. The black dude, and Craig pretty much tricked him. Being that he was fiended out, he was able to trick this guy into bringing him some drugs and tell him he gonna pay him later. And he gonna pay him double. And because he was all fiended out, dude believed it. Well, let's fast forward a couple of weeks. And the fiend dude, he all sober at this moment. And he realizing, hey, this dude Craig still ain't paid me yet. And he go and try and, approach him. Like, what's good with that? You owe me such and such. Says you're going to give me double. You ain't give me nothing yet. And Craig was like, oh, my bad. Yo, I totally forgot. I meant to hit you up when I came through. Come on over to the cell. Come on over to the cell. Now, when dude went to that cell, it was almost like Craig had this planned. Like he had a fail-safe set up in his cell. They both walked into the cell, and he told dude, yo, close the door. I don't want nobody to, be seeing what we doing or whatever in my locker and shit, Dude closed the door. When dude turned back around from closing the door, Craig was swinging a lock and a sock right in his face. Bow! He went down. And Craig ain't stopped there. He beat that guy's face in. Beat him down till he was unalive. Till he stopped breathing. That's how many times he hit this man's brain with that lock and sock. And he hurried up, got dude up out of the cell, and he went back down to the day room. Just dragged dude on over to the stairwell real quick like it never happened. And bounce. And now, the fact that nobody saw that one, well, he didn't really catch another life sentence for that one. But everybody know he did it. People know he did it. And that wasn't the last, y'all. There was one more incident that happened in that very same prison. And after he unalived the last person, let's just say the prisoners wasn't having it no more. If the administration wouldn't lock this man up for good and put him in solitary forever, they was going to have to do something about it. So, word is the inmates in that particular prison that were in an uproar about those two black inmates being unalived, well, as soon as they was able to get their hands on Craig? Well, Craig got a little bit of his own medicine. They stomped Craig. They beat Craig. They spit on Craig. Kicked Craig. They hit him till he was unconscious and woke him back up. Knocked him back out again, y'all. Yeah. And after all of that, well, unfortunately, Craig, he suffered so many stab wounds to the chest and the back and the neck and the head. He didn't make it out that prison that night. That was his last transfer. And I can't put out there the prison that it happened in and all that stuff, because I'm sure there's some kind of guidelines about me speaking about this stuff. But I felt that y'all need to hear that story. But remember, y'all, don't feel bad for Craig. Remember, Craig is the same guy that went and sat down and had a candy bar and a glass of milk after unaliving somebody else. Craig is the same monster that unalived his wife, his girlfriend, his mistress, and his 2 kids, and multiple others in the prison. Craig received the same severe prison justice he administered to other inmates year after year. So don't feel bad for Craig, y'all. Craig got what he deserved. And if you're going to go to prison and you're going to commit more crime in prison, you got to be ready to stand on it. And well, I guess that's what Craig calls standing on business. Alright, y'all, listen. That's going to be it for this story. I hope you liked it. Get in the comment box, tell me what you thought. Like, share, and subscribe. And please, y'all, hype this video so other people can hear it. With that, I'm going to get on up out of here, y'all. I am your boy, Jersey Street Corner. This is the JSK Prison Talk Show. And I'm out.